and social controls and Larry and Curly and Netflix and chill? Visit Wendell W. Wright at www.www.w. Any small town burg, USA-ville.
The policeman on the corner is a good symbol for law. Like the policeman, law directs us in doing the right things to live together in harmony.
That's what it says in the brochure.
And law forbids us from doing the wrong things that tend to destroy that social harmony.
Things like self-expression and independent thought.
But law is more than the policeman on the corner. More than the courthouse where our laws are enforced. More than the jail where lawbreakers are punished.
The poor ones, anyway.
Law is one of three forms of social control which regulate our daily lives. Custom, what we usually do. Moral code, what we should do.
And bribes.
And law, what we must do. Now, just how do these social controls affect us?
In various ways that you're about to illustrate?
Well, in the teen canteen in our town, we'll find part of the answer to that question.
Raid! Hide the vapes!
You see, the canteen is always busy early in the evening. But on weeknights, the crowd thins out gradually.
Like a narrator's hairline.
So when the clock approaches closing time, things quiet down in a hurry. The club has its own laws about closing, and the members obey them.
Or die.
After closing time, you won't find anyone there, except for the three members whose turn it is to clean up.
Also known as the girls.
But did I say 3?
I meant 8.
Just us, Betty? Aren't there always 3 on the cleanup committee?
Yes. I wonder who's missing. If it's that Jack McGregor again.
I'm going to have to cut a
It
bitch.
is. I've heard he always ducks out early.
Quack, quack.
It's bad enough with 3 to clean out, but only 2.
That's half as many.
He's supposed to be business manager of the canteen.
You know, Betty, I'm going to bring this up at the business meeting tomorrow. I'll show that Jack McGregor.
Little turd.
I meant to tell you, Betty, honest, Jane. My dad insisted that I be in the house by 11 o'clock.
Can't you explain to him? He wouldn't want you to run out on your responsibility, would he?
Take it easy. We're not getting anywhere this way.
Fight, fight,
Staying
fight.
to clean up is a problem with a lot of us.
Well, okay, just the
Even though
guys,
I'm
but
chairman
still.
Of the canteen, I've had to skip cleanup duty to keep from being out too late.
Well, anyway, gotta go.
Say, maybe weeknights we ought to close the canteen earlier.
You'll never get anyone to agree to that.
I don't know. Maybe that is the answer.
Tell you what,
Get out of my office.
let's meet again when we can have our advisors in to help us work this thing out.
And you might want to lawyer up.
As you know, our civic association has been with you from the start. I believe I can speak for the association and as your advisor
And a
in
narc.
recommending that it would be very wise for you to close the canteen on weeknights at 10:30 instead of 11.
Earlier on Christmas.
After all, that's customary in our town. The drugstores, ice cream stores, most of the places of business are closed by that time, and, well, it seems to me that you might close, too.
The theater stays open later than 11.
But we're not a theater.
Good point.
Some people may question our behavior when we keep the canteen open till 11.
What will my
I
pastor
don't think
say?
it's right for us to stay out so late.
Who's to say what's right? We know what's good for us. Nobody has to stay here till 11 just because the canteen is still open.
Look, if it hurts, you don't
There's
have
no
to talk
law
so
that
much.
says you have to stay or you have to go. You're a lawyer, Mr. Parks. There's no law, is there?
No, Jack, I don't think there is. Now,
Don't do that, please.
I have heard people talking about your late hours here. You'd better realize that the town could pass a law which would compel you to close at 10:30 or 10 or even 9.
Or 8:45.
You see, whatever the community decides is best for itself usually becomes law.
The community?
Yeah, 6
Well,
seasons in a
aren't we
movie, you
part
know.
of the community?
Well, of course you are, Jack. But thinking of the community as a whole,
Whole bunch of jerks.
well, I wouldn't like to see our town pass a curfew law, as some other towns have. Don't you think it would be better for the community and for you if the canteen were to pass its own law to close weeknights at 10:30?
Maybe redecorate.
And so Jack is learning about social control.
About the man.
It's customary, said Mrs. Brown.
I'm the establishment.
It's right, said Jake.
I'm the moral majority.
It's the law, said Mr. Parks.
These are billable hours, by the way.
Yes, they can all see how these social controls, custom, moral code, and law have always played a part in the activities of the teen canteen.
That ends today.
Here, as in our general society, there are a great many customs, and we accept them.
Begrudgingly.
Customs of dressing. We're neat and clean. Customs of courtesy. We're thoughtful of others.
Can we get some shots over here?
What happens if we violate a custom? It isn't serious. Perhaps we simply lose a little prestige.
Oh, not an issue here.
Nevertheless, customs do control us. We make a habit of following them. And then there are moral codes, sometimes called the mores.
You mean like eels?
These are society's standards about what we should and should not do. They are more deeply ingrained in us. We simply don't cheat in games.
Jim does. Jim totally
We in
does.
the society in which we live think that's the proper way. In the canteen, there's no drinking or gambling. That's in line with the moral code of this group. And what happens if we break the moral codes?
Progress?
Well, anyone who breaks these loses social status. He no longer belongs. He's an outcast.
What's the downside?
And then there's law.
Maritime law.
Let's return to that business meeting where a new law or rule has been under consideration.
So we all agree on the provision for $3 billion in military
Seems we
spending.
have 4 good reasons for setting the closing time of the canteen at 10:30 on weeknights. For the convenience of the cleanup committee, we need an earlier closing hour. Then there's the custom in the town.
The old lady.
And some feel that it's not right for us to stay out late.
The goody two-shoes.
Finally, we want to be sure that we stay within the laws of the town so that we can continue to govern ourselves without outside interference.
And Lionel Hutz.
With all these reasons, I'm sure the majority of canteen members will vote for 10:30 closing. What do you say?
I think it's the only thing to do.
I'm a culture warrior for Jesus.
I'll agree.
Once the check clears.
Well, we're only advisors. You make your own laws. But I think you'll find that your new law is a good law.
The kickbacks are very generous.
Law is a whole body of rules for our conduct made by representatives of the people and enforced by established means.
By this one cop. He's very busy.
We all know that there are many don'ts in the laws we make.
You can't even scratch your butt in this town without the proper permits. Wow, this town has much bigger problems.
Law prohibits what the majority decide is wrong. Law directs what is agreed to be right.
One thing everyone agrees on, signs are awesome.
Laws require you to go to school so that you and society will benefit. And laws provide the schools for you to attend.
Thank you, laws.
Thus, every day you come in contact with social controls,
Be sure and use Purell.
with custom, with moral code, and with law.
Officer Johnny Law.
Suppose this were you. What social controls affect you? Well, in your family, and your school, and your church.
And your
In
dispensary.
your whole community, there are customs and moral codes which guide your actions. Many of these customs and mores are enacted into formal laws.
Not if Mitch McConnell has anything to say about it.
The town or city in which you live has laws which control you.
Sheeple.
There are state laws passed and enforced by state governments. And the federal government in your name makes laws which affect you.
Are you going to just sit there and take it?
And we are hopefully working toward a still higher level of law. The law of nations united for world peace.
I'm not holding my
You are
breath.
guided by all these laws and controls.
Yet it's still cool to take an assault rifle to the grocery store.
The new law for closing at 10:30 was agreed upon by a majority of the members of the teen canteen. The good law because it agrees with the customs, the moral codes, and the laws of this group and of this community.
Woe unto them who breach
In a
this new
democracy,
law.
Such laws and social controls belong to the people who live under them. These laws are yours to make wisely, to change intelligently, to understand and live by.
To completely ignore when you realize a bunch of teenagers have no recourse to hold you accountable. Coronet reminds you to govern and regulate stuff. Thank you for watching. Fun with Shorts is made possible by Patreon and viewers like these. For as little as $1 per video, you can see early and exclusive shorts. Also, please check out the newly updated funwithshorts.com for the latest video downloads, DVDs, and, at long last, merch. Okay, that's the end. Bye.